They try to define us. They think they know us, but they don't. This is Skintervention. Time to retake the narrative. All right. Hey, yo, my name is Danny Barnes, and welcome to the very first episode of the Skintervention podcast.
Woo!
Before we get too far into this, I would like to let y'all know I have two other kings with me, and, I could introduce them, but I'm going to let them do it themselves. So without further ado, here they are.
All right, for sure. I'm gonna kick it off. My name is Jalquan. A little bit about myself. I am a new father of one little baby girl, a blessing, veteran, uh, gamer, nerd, sorry, former gamer. I'm kind of like out the game a little bit, but bookworm, as I've been called by one of the people on this call. I won't name him out, but bookworm. Um, 30 years old or 31 years old. Black man is trying to figure out how to be the black man that I should be for my family. So that's a little bit about me for right now.
I'm Chris G, man. Kind of like a lot like you, cut. New father. Oh, new? 3 years old, still new? Yeah, we're going to say new. New father, veteran. I'm from New York, 32. Same old. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm better at talking about the talk about.
Yeah, for sure. North Carolina. I forgot to shout that out too. Forgot to say where I was from, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from VA myself. I know Chris is in VA. How you liking it out there?
It's straight. It's straight. It's quiet. It's quiet. Except
What
my
part you
neighbors,
in
they
again?
be hating. I'm about Fredericksburg, about 20 minutes out. Let me go inside.
I'm about to say it should be quiet. There's a bunch of old niggas and old white people in country clubs out there. There shouldn't be no nonsense out there.
Nah, copacetic, That's how it should be.
Copacetic. Was that Pinky?
Friday. Okay. So I know our topic today was supposed to be the Black family, man. The smallest unit as Chris has let us know. So which one of y'all want to start, man? Y'all want me to start talking about the Black family? Which one of y'all want to start?
Hey, kick us off, Danny Barnes.
Yeah. All right. Man, pressure. So, man, the Black family, man, the Black family. It's pretty deep. First topic. I guess I'll just start with my perspective on, how I was raised and, where I'm at now. Shoot. Like I said, I was from Virginia. Think around 6. My mom and my dad had separated and things like that. So my sister and I ended up, I think we moved to like the projects or something, man. Cause, even back then you needed 2 incomes to kind of take care of a family. So we moved to these apartments. We stayed there for a little bit. Then we moved into this duplex. I don't really remember much of those 2 places because I was still young. But my mom ended up meeting my current stepfather in Walmart because that's where my mom was working at the time. And they ended up dating. They got married, and then we ended up moving into his house at the time. And he had 2 kids as well, a boy and a girl, just like my mom. My dad, I didn't see him too much once they separated. So it was mostly my stepfather that was my father figure in my life and things like that. My dad would say he'd come get me. I go outside, man, sit on the porch with my little bag and my stuff, man. And he just would never show up. Come to find out, he was out here chasing these women, man. He's young, chasing these women, so he just leave me on the porch. Um, and I go back inside upset, tell my mom, and she'd just be like, "Hey, you'll get older and you'll start moving your own way, and you won't even try to see him as much." And that's pretty much what happened. I started, teenager, I'm out here chasing the girls myself, but I think it was different because I didn't have kids or anything like that. So it's just doing what teenagers do and stuff like that. I think it has a big impact on me, I'd say today. There's things that, only a father can teach you. No matter what they say. I know this is controversial, man, but a woman cannot fill the spot of a father. It's just things that they can't teach that a man can teach you and things like that. I'm definitely different with my children now. I'm present. I show up to their things like that. But I just think not having that father figure, whether you're a son or a daughter, it has a big impact on your life.
Facts, facts. I'll say for me, uh, it was always just me and my mom. I grew up around like all women pretty much my whole childhood. Like it was me, my aunt, my mom, and my aunt had two twin daughters. So I was the oldest out of all the kids, or out of three of us. But it was from what I remember, like the bulk of my childhood was in a we was in a duplex. My aunt was living right beside us, in a little chill neighborhood, and pretty much my dad was married as long as I've been alive, and I think I think he's been married like the whole time I've known him, and like a lot before. So even before I even came on the scene, he was married, and him and my mom ended up linking somehow. My mom's been single, never been married, anything like that, and they ended up linking, and then I popped out. So that's that's one of the, I guess I don't want to say like a stereotype, but that's kind of like the start of my origin. Like I popped out, probably shouldn't have popped out, but here I am, So I'm here for some kind of purpose. But yeah, pretty much just grew up, me and my mom, um, just pretty much duking it out with life. Didn't really know much about manhood or anything like that. She taught me um like life skills and stuff like that. Obviously cleaning up. And she tried to instill like morals in me, things like that. Uh, One thing I did pick up from my mom, I think it's interesting because just as like as you pointed out, Danny, like it's just a lot of things we can't learn from our mom that we can only learn from our dad. But I noticed that for my situation, there's still a lot of things that I learned. Not, I mean, not comparable to what I should have learned from my dad, but it's still skills that I learned from my mom in terms of service. Like my mom has a huge heart. She has a lot of love in her that she um distributes out to others in the form of serving others, the word in the form of putting others before herself. Like a lot of our family members, they can't do for themselves and things like that. And she's always putting them before herself. Like anything she can do to help enrich the lives of others, that she always makes sure is to, that's always her mindset. It's just, what can I do to help somebody else? So that's something that I've always picked up and kind of treasured from knowing her and her mindset and person. But I noticed that even now, there's a lot of things that I missed out, and it's starting to become more. Um, I don't want to say obvious, but like it's becoming more prevalent. Things that I should have learned back then, but I mean, there's nothing I can do to control that situation. But a lot of things that I wish that I could have learned growing up, like how to be a leader, things like that, like how to, like what is my role as a man, like things like that. I wish I would have learned back then. But as we said, like there's only so much that a woman can teach a man, um, and then there's when she gets that threshold, like it's up to the to dad to pick up the slack. But if he's not there, then there's nobody to pick up the slack. So luckily, thank God. I was when we was going to church. She always kept me in church. That's one thing I will say. She always kept me in church, and I ended up running into a big brother slash father figure, Russell Muss, when I was at church, and he was like someone I looked up to in terms of like a family man. He had a wife, he had a daughter, like I have now, um, and he had a house. He had two cars. He was always home with his daughter and everything, and he's like on my Mount Rushmore of people in my life. You know how like Jesus Christ, one of the guys that started this company I'm in now, and blessed to be a part of, Earl Nightingale and Russell. So, um, but one thing. that I picked up from him as well is servitude. So from my mom and from Russell, service has always been a part of my history. And it's I know as we get into the topics, we're probably gonna touch on grief in one of these sessions, and that's probably when I circle back to it, but it's still it's in the topic for the day because he passed back in 2013 due to like a heart attack. Due to me being in the army, I couldn't come home uh, to his funeral. I had the money, I had the leave days. I wasn't mission critical at the moment, but for some reason they just said, no, like, nigga, you staying here. Like, you're not going to that funeral. Like, I mean, they ain't saying like that, but that's kind of like, that's what I perceived. That's what it felt like. So to this day, I still never had that closure of seeing him off, if that makes sense. But I mean, that's kind of a blessing and I guess a little bit of a curse because I don't know how much that would impact me if I did see him uh in that state. Because I mean, y'all know how it is when y'all seeing somebody in the casket, like they just don't look the same at all. So I don't know what that would have done to me mentally, but all I can picture now, which is still a blessing, I think of it as I can still picture him as that full of life, serving, loving, caring dude. So that's a blessing that I have with me. But yeah, that's a little bit of my childhood. I don't want to take up too much time, but 'cause I know we're gonna circle back to a bunch of stuff.
No, you launching it, man. You launching a rocket, bro.
Try
You
to.
got niggas out here riding boats and shit. So they just stopped. You brought me time. That's why I went inside. Uh, nah, man. So I come from NYCHA and there's projects in New York, Bronx River to be precise. Soundview, if you don't know, the Bronx, if you don't know, New York City, if you don't know. Um, that comes with its obvious. Oh, they still riding. That comes with its obvious problems, right? My father wasn't there. He was there, right? So my grandmother, my father's mother, lived on the 5th floor. I lived on the 8th. Like that's how goofy it was. Like 3 floors down, and neither him or his mother checked on us. It was just that absurd, right? And I've still got mad love for them in my heart. I started talking to my father again about 2 years ago, but my mom passed when I was 12, so I was kind of like an orphan. My sister, who's technically that's my sister, but technically my cousin, her mother was a crack addict. My mother pulled them in, and she then returned the favor by taking care of us um, after my mom passed. So 19 years old, she was raising 3 badass kids, right? And she's the most she's that nigga. I don't know how else to say it, right? Every dude in the hood admired her, including myself. Everybody wanted to be like my sister, right? Because she always got it. She always figured out how to get the bread. She always figured out how to take care of like she was still like a mother. My sister never like it's funny. She's like a paradox of people because outside she's like to them she gangster and shit. But when you in the house with her, she's like washing everybody's laundry, taking care of everybody's clothes, the food, serving plates and teaching me these very little lessons that I didn't really understand as a young boy, until it was time for me to have a woman of my own, or a partner of my own, right? So she would teach me kind of like what a woman should do. This is what you need to expect from a woman. I got to
Mm,
do it because your mother's not here to do it, right? And when my mother showed me, because she didn't work, and I got to see this weird dichotomy in the culture where a lot of people's mothers they was at work and they was miserable and they was tired and they was exhausted, so they wasn't really there for the kids. And the fathers left, so like you said, like they didn't have no backbone, like no fallback option.
mm,
Because the culture we was all separated, even though we lived together.
yep.
So they kind of was hating. Like they was just mad at me because I was happy that I had my mother. You feel me? And I didn't see that. So I was like 25, 26, and I was just reflecting on it. Like, bro, most of like when I was a kid, most niggas that did the dumb shit, it was just because I had my mother. But my mom was gangster as shit. That's the crazy thing. I didn't know this until like a couple years ago. My sister was telling me all of her brothers. She was the one that they would call to beat. Like some shit happened, they called Janet. Janet about to go out there and beat somebody up. To this day, I remember my first bullies. They messed with me, And I went to my mother. She knew I was mad. I guess she knew the look personally, like, oh, he about to transform today. Let me give him some Jesus real quick. Let me give him some Jesus. So she was like, she just looked me so sincerely in my face, and to this day, it's what keeps me from getting physical with people. She was like, "You don't gotta hurt them," but it's like clicked in my head, like I don't gotta hurt them. But it sounds so stupid, but like it changed my life. But she went and spoke to their mother, and they stopped messing with me too. So it was a two-sided story, but I learned from that how important a mother is. So now I'm
Mm,
with my wife, and we have a kid. Like she has like a whole different kind of relationship with her mother, right? Like, my mother gave love. My mother was a compassionate person. That's how my wife is. But she wasn't raised by someone like that. So, that affects her. So sometimes we get into these fights about like, bro, I just need you to be there for the baby. She's like, nah, nah, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not trying to fight with you about it. But the baby's asking for you. She needs your attention. She needs your time. But she was like, because the way she grew up, she's like, I want to get my money. I want to get my bread, which is powerful. I don't knock that. But like, you're a mother. You're a mother. I'm sorry that you was born with the womb and you had to spend the 9 months with it. So God chose to do it, but you a mother. It's like I'm a father and she comes to me for discipline. She comes to me for consistency. She comes to me to understand how to treat people. And I'm very peculiar about that. I get it wrong all the time, man. It's times I yelled at my daughter and like 2 seconds later, I'm like, ooh, that was wrong. And I come to her, I apologize to her, I show her what like I feel the women this age of women don't get. They don't understand. Like it's okay to be wrong because for them it was abusive, and even for us, like being at work getting something wrong one time would be like you're canceled, like real life canceled for getting one thing wrong. But that's not real, bro. Everybody does everything wrong.
mm.
The first mark of knowledge is I do not know. And if you don't get there, you're just gonna jump to this old empty pride and start saying to a man what he needs to do, but you're not a man. But I'm not too mad at the woman for that because guess who did it first? So they kind of mad at that. And at the same time, I try to tell them, like, bro, y'all should have been listening to the we was the intellects growing up. We just wasn't called that yet. You know what I mean? So we was making sense out of the situation. And they was like, well, I'm gonna give him box. He's gonna hurt you. He gonna hurt you, then he gonna have sex with your friend, and you're gonna think he's still a good guy. And then you're gonna be now fast forward, y'all complaining about the men, but y'all chose these men. Y'all chose them to represent us. Y'all chose the rappers that threw the money at the strippers. Y'all chose them. Because, bro, I've been talking against it my whole life. And everybody just like, get the fuck out, nigga. He's like, I'm a party pooper. But I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's not a
Yeah.
it has just to sum it up, man. It's been destructive to the black family because everybody wants to build a community, but we need the family unit. We need a culture, right?
Mm,
And we don't know. And I say, especially for us who didn't have our fathers, we don't know how to build that. The only reason why I got a kind of an idea is because I work in tech and they taught me development, and I realized like that's what you develop a culture. So like when you have like the pantry, certain things go in the pantry, certain things go in the supply closet, the laundry goes a certain place. Like that's building a culture. And if you and your wife can't get that down, y'all gonna be fighting over stupid shit. Trust me, I know. And we're just fighting over dumb stuff. And I'm like, bro, if I hang up all the coats this way, why you hang up the coats that way? And she's like, you nitpicking. I'm like, I have to follow behind you for everything. You leaving stuff out, the food goes bad. You leaving caps off, the fly flew
bro,
in or something. And it's
bro.
like, I'm not trying to be, you saying I'm nitpicking, but by myself, I wouldn't have these problems. Oh, what do you mean by yourself? So it's a trick to it. We have to
So
dance around the blaze that the woman had to learn to live with. And it's a very interesting thing, but I think the only way we can figure it out as men is to talk to each other because it's too much for one of us. We all got to kind of carry it together. But
straight up, bro. Straight up. Like it's even to that point, man, like trying to cause she has like even like my wife, like she has her system, I got my system, but it's a matter of trying to mesh them systems together to where it still makes sense on both sides, where it creates that homeostasis in the home. Like this the homeostasis. I don't know why I thought of that word again. It just popped in my head. Yes, I was like, nigga, I gotta
Oh,
keep that on the
bookworm.
I gotta keep that on the roster, nigga. But nah, like for real though, but like really learning how to like that learning how to create that cohesion between the systems that you both have in place, and like if we don't What I'm even learning now, because I'm like I've been married a year. We got married in January 2024. But what I've learned so far is that even right now, as I'm just talking, like I got to learn how to pull some things out of my system to make room for the things that she has to fit into my system. Kind of like a puzzle piece. Like if we if I don't cut this little circle out of my square, then she can't fit into my puzzle.
Mm,
So it's kind of a blockade right there. But um I kind of had a similar situation. Like you said, your dad was on the fifth floor. I think you said um fifth or the eighth floor. I forget. I'm sorry, but I know you said it was a 3 floor difference. My dad was in the same city as me. Grew up in Salisbury, North Carolina. But me and my dad been in the same city since I was alive, since I've been existing, breathing. Like it's been like kind of similar to how you said Barnes. Like it was like it wasn't I wasn't keeping in contact with him like to say like, are you coming to get me this weekend or can I come over to spend time with my brothers? I got two brothers and two sisters. I haven't met I met one of my sisters. I just met my brothers, I think within the last 3 to 5 years.
mm,
And before that, I don't think I've ever seen them before a day in my life. If they walked past me in Walmart, I wouldn't have known it was them. And it's that crazy. We was all in the same city. But yeah, he would pop by and everything, but it would just be like spur of the moment. Like I wouldn't know when he's coming. Um, the one memory that I have of him is I think it was like maybe I guess like less than 10, but like more than older than 5. And I guess I was like 8, but I couldn't sleep for some reason. And I remember he was there, and I think he either came to come pick me up or something, or we went by one of his old workplaces to go pick up a fan or something like that. And he had like this little Ford. He had a Ford. He had a black Ford Ranger, like the little small trucks.
mhm.
And that night I couldn't sleep. He just drove me around the neighborhood, or I think around the city or something. I ended up falling asleep, and he just carried me back into bed. But that's like one of the few memories I have of my dad. But like you said, Chris, it's like I look at him now, like I go talk to him today, and we just chop it up. Like it's we kind of like buried the hatchet. Well, it wasn't really no hatchet. It was just like we
Yeah.
buried the lost time, I guess, in a sense, and we kind of
Mhm.
like trying to move forward with it amicably. But
Look at
even
yeah.
even even now, like it's to the point where when I'm with him, like I get like it's like a cool feeling, like to catch up with my dad, to be able to say I'm with my dad type of deal. Um, but I I I notice like that, and I'm like even when I'm with him, I notice the impact that a father has. Like, so I'm trying to make sure that I keep that with my daughter because I look at her as somebody that's going to be hopefully somebody's wife one day. And I want to be able to, just like how Chris said, I want to be able to show her what it means to be a man, what she should look for, just like how his sister represented what a woman should be. I want to instill the things in my daughter of what a man should be from a man's perspective, and then from a man's perspective, how she should be moving when she's in that wife position to where she knows at least somewhat. I don't know who she's gonna marry, but and at least I can provide some kind of foundation for her expectations when she's in that marriage of what a man is thinking, what signs to look out for. If he's going through something, then you should keep your eye on this. Or if he needs a moment, look out for this. Or if he's lost in something, maybe you can help him with this or encourage him this way because this is how men receive, help or something like that. So I noticed like the importance on both sides of the impact of the father. I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna let no Barnes probably want to go, but it was no. I'm like all the stuff is flowing to me, but there's I don't know if you heard have y'all heard of Tony Evans before?
Mm-mm.
Nah.
He a pastor. I don't know where that boy. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I think he in Texas or something like that. But
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, he a pastor. I got one of his books, Kingdom Man. It's pretty solid. But he said this thing I was when I was on the road truck driving. I was just listening to a bunch of sermons back to back, and he said this one thing that stuck with me. But he said families impact schools, schools impact communities, communities impact the cities, cities impact the state, states impact the country, country impact the world. But the going back to the building block of that is the family. And
Yeah,
the
100.
building block of the family is the man. Like it all it always the man is always the constant. As much as some people try to discount it, like the man being in the family, we are the nucleus of the family at the very I mean, Jesus is the nucleus of the family, but through us, Jesus is using us as the nucleus of the family, like the structure of the family. Otherwise, like the family's just a blob. Like we're kind of like the I guess like the skeleton in that sense. But if the family doesn't have that man figure, that headship, in the form of a man, I'll say even the form of in the form of a father, really like lowercase f, because it's the heavenly father is the father. But the lowercase f, like that father figure, that dad, that man, that kingdom man, whatever case, whatever you want to call it. If the family doesn't have that, then they're gonna have a huge um building block missing from their foundation. It's like a wall of bricks. It's like okay, so like you got like a building with four walls. If the dad's not there, that's like two walls that you're missing.
Mm.
And it allows a lot of it leaves that family
Things,
open.
things, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Huh?
A lot of things, man. A lot of the storms be cold when you ain't got
Hey,
your four walls.
You see
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I'll just walk up to your house at that point.
See, you see what I'm saying? It leaves the
Yeah.
family open. The family's
Yeah.
exposed when the man ain't there, is basically what I'm saying.
Nah,
Yeah.
you right with that. You right with that. Okay, okay.
But
Man, y'all said a lot. Like, it's a lot to unpack, but I think it's a lot that a lot of us go through, but we don't get to talk to other black men about our problems and things like that. So I think it's just, just sitting in there, just like just festering and stuff like that.
yep,
Mhm.
But before I get too far ahead with the other things, I wanted to wrap back around and kind of touch on what Chris said about, I guess, recently speaking to his father. I had cut my father off probably a few months ago because
Dang.
my daughter had like a dance recital, and I had told him months in advance, man. And last minute, he didn't come. I kept asking him like, "Just tell me you're not gonna come." And he finally said it, but the pain was still there because it reminded me of what I went through when he wouldn't pick
Mhm.
me up, right?
Mhm.
So we relinked probably a couple like last week. We started talking and stuff like that. And one thing he said is that he grew up in a home, probably had like 10 brothers and sisters. So
Yeah.
he didn't have a lot of the attention that he probably needed, growing up and stuff like that. His mom was in the home, but his dad was out in the streets, like my dad was out in the streets, right? So he was only doing what he was pretty much taught in a way. And I think it's hard for a lot of us to break the cycle of what we see growing up because it's just so many years of seeing it, right? But just from him talking to me and explaining, why he was doing the things he did, it helped me understand a little bit better. It didn't make me feel 100% better because I was like, why didn't you just break the cycle, right? Why would you
right.
want to inflict that pain on another person? But I think it's just going back generations of just this happening. So, and nobody's breaking the cycle. Not enough people, I would say.
Mm.
But I definitely want to say shout out to the moms, man. Shout out to the moms.
Word.
You know, y'all been holding it down for all three of us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Straight
Like,
up. Straight
uh,
up.
Yep.
so
Yep.
we can't discount y'all, and things like that for sure. And then with your thing with the sympathy thing, um, I think a lot of moms are always gonna, have that. It's just that nurturer, within them. Kind of like, we also say the men, like Chris was saying, his wife wants him to be the disciplinarian. That's just usually how the roles kind of shake out in the family unit, and stuff like that. Um, but outside all of that, what would you guys say that not having a father, what did you lose from that situation? What are you missing out on? What are some things you noticed that
Man,
y'all don't know or you're figuring out now? Like, who anybody can go first.
hey, good.
So communication,
Okay.
communicating with your partner, man.
Facts.
It's easy as men to see it in a woman, but it's both ways.
Mhm.
It's both of us. Like I say like for the last 2 years, man, I kind of went incognito because I was working on my relationship because we were fighting so much over nothing. And I sometimes I'll say it calm like this, sometimes I would yell it like, what are we fighting for? I don't know why we're fighting. And then she would sometimes she would break and laugh because she's like, you're goofy. I'm like, yes, because I don't want to fight, man. Like you're not my enemy. You're not my enemy. And I had to really start to think about what not only I was saying, but what she was saying to me, because that's
Mm,
communication, right? So it hit an epitome a couple months back, actually. It's a couple, we climbing, but it was like, I said to her, right, we was getting, tension was getting high. And I said, sometimes I just need you to submit. And she got defensive because, the conversation online.
Mhm.
And she knows me better than that. I don't go online. I don't know what they saying.
Yeah.
So I asked her later on, I gave it a couple hours. I'm like, so what is it to be a dominant woman? Because she told me maybe I'm not a submissive woman. So what is a dominant woman?
Mm.
She said, I don't know. I'm like, all right, so let me get this straight. You was responding, you was reacting to what I said. You didn't really take the time. You don't even know what you're saying. You're just repeating the script, kind of how you said people are taught, right?
wow.
So the reason why I don't like that mentality is I don't like giving people an excuse because the first time I held my daughter, one of the first thoughts that came in the first year of her life was, how did my father ever put me down? Like, period. It ain't no getting past that. But we being graceful and being a bigger person, because I know I'm gonna hit that wall you hit, and it's gonna be rough because you gotta forgive them and keep pushing. But
Yeah.
a spade
Mhm.
is a spade,
Yeah.
and she didn't recognize that she was following the script of I'm gonna be honest, the bitter woman that came before. And she was just doing I'm not submissive. So what is a dominant woman? She said, I don't know. All right, let me give you some things that I think a dominant woman is. If you wouldn't mind. That's what I told her pretty much she's about her business, whatever that is. She gets it, whatever she wants, and she knows how to get it. She knows if you want to get it from me, you know how to get it from me. It ain't fighting me like a man would. It's not fighting me at all. It's bringing peace. I don't think a woman who gets it will ever need to beg anybody for attention. And I started just going down the list of, and after a while, she started seeing what I was doing. I'm generalizing. I stepped outside of the woman and said a dominant person would do, right? So to sum that up, um, she realized that she was just responding. I'm like, my thoughts are powerful. You're gonna take 4 hours in my thoughts and respond in 2 seconds and think it's really the equivalent. And then over time, like I'm saying it like this, I'm talking to y'all, but that's essentially what I was saying. But what I missed at that time and what really makes it make sense, and when I said this to her, was like, God dominates the conversation. The truth dominates the conversation. That's what we both are submitting to. And some people have a hard time with God. So let's make it easy for those people. The greater purpose, whatever that means to you. If you submit to the greater purpose, then that means trivial things you're not going to really fight over because it's going to get in the way of that.
Yeah.
So I resonate with God. That's how I get there. I know I'll be cursing a lot, but I don't know. It's a conversation. But
Yeah.
it's, it, it, it's something I need to work on. I get better, I get worse. But anyways, the submitting to what's important realistically is what I'm saying. It's not how we feel right now because you're gonna feel like crap in like 10 minutes. Once you come down, you're like, damn, I really did violate. That was mean. Yeah, that was mean. You know that you're not gonna feel good about that tomorrow. So why do it now? Right. And we get so caught up in how we feel. And this is something that a father teaches emotional intelligence. The first mark of intelligence,
Mm,
knowing how to control myself, knowing how to say, ooh, I really want to drop kick you right now, but I'm never gonna feel good about that. Like it's never gonna come. I'm never gonna say like a year later, like, yeah, drop kick this girl and she's talking crazy. No, I'm gonna feel like the worst man in the world. So why put myself through it? Why put you through it? And that's an extreme, like the Ten Commandments, but in reality, way before murder comes anger. And once you start to understand these things, you start to see why, like, it's not worth the fight. Why, man, when I say I want peace and peace is consistency, then don't randomly blow me up with something that's pissing you off. Like, walk me through it. Help me understand how to know. if you see me missing it, instead of just assuming I'm supposed to read your mind. Like I'll get it sometimes, but when I don't, show me mercy. You know what I mean? Don't drop kick me. And I'm tumbling down the stairs and shit, trying to get my bearings back, and I'm like, what? I didn't even do nothing. You said my name away. I didn't like. Like that's something a man would say. Shorty, chill. So I love my wife, man. She teaches me so much about relationships and myself, and she's such a good woman. And I mean, I'm not dismissing that at all. But just like me, we got a lot of work to do. And the father, like I impart this on my daughter: communicate. And as I told her very young, say no. When you're mad, tell me, show me you're mad. Just don't be rude, because I'm not gonna be the one when you say it to someone else. It's gonna be somebody else. They ain't got that borderline in the sand. I need you to
Yeah.
be ready for that. So it's communication. It's the message. What is the message? What does our family represent? What do we bring to other families? To your point, Chuck. So, anyways, I'll stop right there.
Dang. Um, that's a that's that question is like one of them things like when they say that phrase, have y'all heard that phrase like you don't know what you don't know?
Mhm.
That's like the first thing I thought about when you asked that question. Like, no, I thought about like when you had said the thing about your dad with the daughter recital too. Like the first soon it was kind of bad, but like soon as you said it, I instantly thought about Fresh Prince when his dad
Oh,
like
yeah. Yeah,
yeah
his
was it
dad used to
what
show
why
up.
you don't want
Mhm.
me? Like that
Mhm.
was the first thing I thought about. I was like, dang, that's kind of he got Fresh Prince a little bit, but it's no, I'm trying to like I don't. It's really like one of those things. Like I don't know what I don't know, but
Yeah.
because I'm still. That's like even the reason why I started Chris know that was the reason why I started a group a while back trying to dive into the Bible other men trying to figure out what it means to truly be a man and then take it to the next level and then to be a man of God. And as even as Chris was talking about, like some people get weird with God, but I this is my stance on it. I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm a disciple. Disciple meaning a student, so I'm trying to follow his teachings um in the Bible, the KJV. But yeah, it's one of those things like I don't know what it means to truly be a man. I don't have that other than Jesus and his character in the Bible, which I haven't read all the way through yet, so I'm still learning. But I don't have that example of what I should be aiming towards in manhood. What should I be staying away from in manhood? Obviously, I mean, I know like the like the black, like staying away from the black, but there's still that gray area of like things
Mhm.
in manhood that you should avoid that won't lead you away from the white area. If we can go with that binary type of thing. But I would say communication is a good one. What's something how was the question worded again? How you phrase it?
Like, what do you feel like you're missing from not having that father interaction growing up? Like something it could be like, "Hey, I didn't even know how to shave when I started growing a beard," um,
Mhm.
the coaching in sports, just different things that a man usually provides if they're there.
I would say something like to those I mean, obviously shaving. I didn't really know how to shave until I got into the army, and I think that was probably like a YouTube video. So I
Mhm.
would say for a good portion of um, I guess my young adulthood, like if I needed to learn something, it was always YouTube. So I guess if anything, I had a digital dad in that sense. Where if I needed to learn anything, like tying a tie, nigga, I couldn't tell you. Like I seen like videos, I seen like videos on like Reddit uh of like a smooth way to tie a tie, and it was a girl doing it, and she said that I think it was either her dad or her granddad taught her. So I was like, nigga,
Mhm.
that would have been nice, but I don't wear ties like that anyway. But it would have been nice to at least have the option to know, to at least the option to forget something that I could have used later. Like dang, I wish I remember how to tie a tie. My dad taught me, but I forgot. Like I don't even have that experience. I can't even say that.
Mhm.
But it's I would say um leadership. Like I would say, okay, to Chris's point, I would say leadership, emotional intelligence, and business slash purpose, or like purpose and business,
That's a good
because
one. Mm.
like I would say leadership and learning how to one lead myself. I would say that's kind of like one of the biggest things I'm learning right now is learning how to lead myself,
Mhm.
and then following up, like stacking that on top of trying to lead a family is kind of like I got a full plate, but learning how to lead myself first properly, and following up with that, like leading a family, obviously, but learning how to um be about business, like learning how to seek that purpose, how to know what purpose is, how to even as a man, like how to relegate that into leading the family. Like where's the family going? Like what's the direction this family supposed to go in? And I would say what did I say? I said leadership, purpose and business, and emotional intelligence. Like because I told you I grew up with like all women, so
Mhm.
that's a lot of even the twins. And it was because I'm like two. I want to say I'm 2 years older than them, I think. So even as them growing up, learning with their hormones and everything, we had like a trampoline and stuff and a basketball goal and everything. So I would want to play with them, but at the same time, they're girls. They're going to end up going into girl things and only do this type of things. Or most of the stuff that we had was, I guess, dudeish in a sense. We had the trampoline, we had the basketball goal, we had the pool.
Mhm.
Not saying girls can't do those things, but like most girls aren't outside of the pool. Most girls aren't really gonna um, relate to that stuff as much as a boy would. So trying to understand how to manage my own emotions while balancing or offsetting the was it the estrogen of five other women, and then two of those women learning their own estrogen and hormones and stuff, and just having those skills to be able to even now put into practice to where I'm with my wife and my daughter, but learning how to look back on those skills of emotional intelligence to understand um as a man I should be able to take the hits from my wife when she come home, when she have a bad day at work, be able to sit there and just take the lumps, like let her get her off her chest, but not taking it personally. Like um and then even
Yeah.
being able to pass it on to my daughter to where I'll say me and my wife are both headstrong, so I know my daughter's gonna pick up a lot of that. So
Mhm.
being able to pass those same skills down to her to where when she as independent as she is, the older she gets, to be able to help coach her along in her emotional intelligence as well from a father perspective. Even though we're different in gender, we're still gonna be similar in I guess like the human aspect. Like there's something that I could experience even from a man's perspective that she may experience. She may take it in a totally different way as a young woman,
Mhm.
and being able to help coach her through that process of understanding to where that there's no beef where she doesn't keep something held in to where 20 years down the line, I wish you would have did it this way instead of this way.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, well, that's 20 years we just lost. We could have handled that back then. But if I don't have the emotional intelligence to help coach her along, or even coach myself into picking up on certain cues or flags or anything like that, then we could end up wasting time or holding something in within ourselves that could have been mitigated like a long time ago. So I would say, yeah, those four or those three. But probably the biggest is emotional intelligence for me.
Okay. Okay. No, I can
What
give you
about
that
you,
for sure.
man?
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
man, y'all took all the answers, man. Like my whole damn family feud board filled up. I gotta find one of the lower number answers.
Well, scratch
Uh,
leadership on the board for me to take that back.
nah, 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 nah. Shoot. I'd probably say like balance. More of a perspective situation, like getting the female perspective and the male perspective. Being able to get the female perspective and knowing how to deal with other females from the female side, but you can also get that from the male side as well. as far as, the different relationships we come across before we even get to that marriage standpoint. I feel like a father could, tell you some of the red flags you should look out for when you're pursuing different types of women and things like that.
Mhm.
Because,
Huge.
they'll know because, they've been doing it, right? And I just think, just overall with interpersonal relationships, I think having, both sides, I think it makes you overall a better person to be able to interact with different types of people, and be receptive to their different emotions. Like you can kind of like, I know we mentioned code switching is one of the conversations we're going to have later on, but I think you can kind of jump in and jump out of different conversations to say, like, say your daughter's coming to you with a problem, right? You, she may be a little, maybe more rugged like than your son is, right? But you still want a certain way you want to, communicate with her versus how you may communicate with your son and things like that. And then like with the other, the leadership and the emotional intelligence, man, I think the emotional intelligence thing is a big one because, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. Um, and I think just knowing how to deal with your emotions when they get too high, like I think that's very important because you can go off the rails real quick,
Yeah.
if you don't know.
Yo,
Um, but knowing all of those things that we've been missing and we feel like we could have had while growing up. Um, I guess how do you guys see like the black family unit now? Like what should it be?
I'm gonna say me personally, I think like just going out the Bible, like as my guide, like I'm thinking about, and whenever I think about stuff like that, is I go back to the scripture. I bet these kids is like big loud out here, and these like floors are kind of like they're concrete, but they're like it's like weak concrete or something. I don't know how to explain. Like you can hear every footstep, or I don't know if they footsteps just that heavy, but they got a lot of. It's like they got lead in their shoes, and they're just wearing lead
He
shoes
said,
for
"Oh,
like
please, you can't do the 5 Gs. Up, up." They upstairs hitting it,
they
hitting
like
the,
you
the
can hear
mic, man.
every step, bro. It's I don't know what it is with them niggas, but they excited about something. But
Oh, man.
yeah, I'm thinking about the scripture. It said like when Jesus was like I think he was in like a teen, he was like a teenager, he was like 12 or something. But basically him, his mother and Joseph, Mary and Joseph, they went somewhere, and I think they were going to a market or something. But basically, as they was leaving, Mary and Joseph left. But when they got to a point in the journey, I was like, wait a minute, we lost Jesus. Where's Jesus? What he's not here. Do you see? It was like so. Basically, he was still back where they was at originally. And when they went back and found him, they was like, "Oh, we were looking for everywhere for you. We missed you." It was like, well, he was like, "Don't you know I got to be about my father's business?" So ever since I read that scripture, it I've been trying to figure out like what his father's business is. So God being our father,
Mhm.
his business should be our business as believers. Like if somebody's a believer, then they should be trying to attain his business, well not attain it, but like understand it and
Oh, you know what?
put it into their household basically.
Okay.
So the best thing I can gather from that is family, people, um, just us. Like we are his business. It's the soul, like he's in the soul business, he's in the family business. So me right now, I'm thinking that like family is a business. Like the black family,
Okay.
other families have figured this out. So I think we're kind of behind the curve a little bit. But the black family is missing the business piece of the puzzle when it comes to their family. When we're talking about a whole family, like not just saying like a mother, father, son, daughter, whole family from that aspect, but I'm talking about like a whole family, like whole in mindset, whole in goals, whole in devotion, being committed to one another, whole and just thinking in general, but or in whole in unity as well. So I'm thinking the family is missing business in terms of everybody knowing their role, everybody knowing what's expected of them, everybody playing their part, and then helping to also shore up the weaknesses of the other person. So if I'm weak in this area, but my wife is strong in this area, then we use both of our strengths in their respective areas. So that way we mitigate, we minimize our weaknesses, but also enhancing our strengths at the same time, and then also transferring that to our kids, so where they can see us working together as partners, and then be able to um, let that lesson or that skill be a part of their lifestyle as they grow up. So I think I think business, like being able to learn how to work together as a unit, as Chris has said, like as a unit, like being able to get back to that foundation of we're all in this. Oh, man, almost, I don't want to say it like that because every time I think of that phrase, now I'm thinking about High School Musical, but we're all in this together, like basically. I can't say that and not think of that song. It's messing
Yeah,
me up, but
I feel
we're
that.
all in this together. We all got a part to play in this, and if it's like a boat. Like if we're all I guess like the a buoy on the boat, if we're down one or two buoys, the boat ain't gonna float for so long. So the more I think it's the right, ain't that the right word, buoys or whatever that thing is, like the floating device, whatever. If we're down two floating devices on our boat out of the four, I mean we're not gonna float as long as we would as we have the four. So I think the business unity aspect is one of the biggest things that we're missing from families today.
Okay.
All families, not just black families.
Hold on, Chris. I'm gonna let you follow up, bro. I got you. I just gotta
Yeah,
play.
yeah,
I gotta play
yeah.
devil's advocate real fast. So the first part of this, do you feel that, say, one of the people in the relationship, husband or wife, right, aren't happy? Should they stay for the family unit? And two, do you feel like even though the marriage did not last, is it possible for you to still have that type of dynamic with, you know, the father coming in, getting his visitation and things like that? Can they still build that relationship without the marriage being intact?
I say they still build a relationship without the marriage being intact. You talking
Yeah,
about the
like,
relationship with the kids or
yeah, like can we still support each other even though we're not together in the same house? Can the father that used to be married to the mom, can he still be a part of the kid's life? Can he still support his ex-wife? Can you still build each other up that way?
I,
mm,
I got a story for this.
Okay.
Actually, something. So my parents were married. Um, my father was a Rolling Stone. He was, out. She says he was out there. He was wild. He was wilding. We got the same
Streets.
type of women. We got the same temperament. I didn't know all this until we got close. But
mm,
he had a mistress named, I'm not gonna say her name, and I'll never forget. We was in Third Avenue in the Bronx. People from there would know. And I don't know. I don't remember what we was doing there, but we was walking up the hill, and she was coming down. And the way my mom engaged with her, there was like no hatred in her heart.
Mm,
Like, it was the nice my mother was a sweet person. Now, like I said, she used to beat people up, but by the time I got to know her, she was sweet.
mm,
So the way she handled that, as a kid, I didn't know no different.
mhm.
So to me, that was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't really even know who she was. It didn't really click until the day went by and all of that. But even when she left, even when we was by ourselves, her temperament never changed.
Mm,
So what that showed me was it's possible, even though my pops was a goofy for doing that,
mm.
to still be copacetic, to still be, I like
Yep.
to use the word graceful.
mhm.
Like, I have every right because you're literally sleeping with my man and he's still married with me, but I don't want to
Yeah.
because it's better that we work together because she ended up having my younger brother. It's like, and now, like my long story short, man, it gave a great impression on, like, if I was ever in a similar situation, what I would want to do. I want to
Mm,
emulate that because as a young boy looking up at my mother, it just gave me a lot that a lot of people don't get. They see like the chaos and they start
mhm.
fighting and screaming in the
Yeah.
street. And it's a shame because really it's for the kids at that point, right? You
Mhm.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not about the parents all the time. It's like this morning, my wife and I, we started, she was just groggy and you know, we wake up annoyed. And at first, because I'm like, I love you. I'm just gonna talk to you later, right? And obviously, I'm irritated about it,
Mhm.
but I'm like, I want to handle this gracefully. I don't want to. I'd rather call one of my brothers and chop it up with him. And something the wise man once said to me is like people aren't trash cans. Like I'm not gonna throw all my trash on my brother because my lady did something little, realistically. But it's like quite literally, he just went through the same thing. So we was just kind of like, blah, 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 blah. But the way it ends is like at the end of the day, as men, we gotta be graceful. You know what I mean? We got each other
Yeah.
because sometimes you just want to say how you thinking it, and I'm women do it all the time, man. I got a lot of sisters too,
Yeah.
Chuck, man.
Mhm.
So it's about having people. Different relationships mean different things. The roles that we all
Mhm.
play, right? So sometimes your father can't really give you the answer you need. That's why you have an uncle or
Mhm.
aunt.
Mm,
So saying all of that to say, it takes a community to raise a
yeah.
child. So even after the two break, the community should still hold.
Yeah,
Mm,
agreed. Yeah, I
that's
was
good.
asking because, a lot of times when you separate and then say the individuals go into separate relationships, right? A lot of animosity usually builds like that. So I wanted to know if you thought like, hey, is there any way we can get past that barrier and still support each other? You know what I mean? So that's why I
Yeah.
was asking you that cut.
I think well, I'm gonna say this too real quick sidebar. So it's I think it's copacetic. We be saying copacetic at like pinky,
Upset.
but it's I don't want no niggas roasting us. So like it's yeah, but it says copacetic, but I mean copacetic. But even Chris, like you made it's like it's bro, that's if you think about it, like how you just said that, like if the kids grow up seeing that chaos and stuff,
Hmm.
that's the alternate reality of what they should be seeing. You see what I'm saying? Like they're supposed to be seeing the canon of
The canon.
peace, the canon. They're seeing an alternate reality of
That's a double
of the
entendre.
exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like they're supposed to be seeing the peace, the love,
Hmm.
the I mean the camaraderie, all that stuff. But they're seeing the alternate reality. They're seeing the what if, the Marvel what if. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? But but not like I think me personally, I'm at the what was the first part of the question? What was the first the
um,
I remember the second part.
like leaving if you're not happy in the marriage, like leaving, do you think that's
Okay.
like a okay thing? Because a lot of people believe, you should stay for the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah. Me as a believer, I don't believe in divorce or remarry. Like, so I was even thinking about this with uh, well, I don't want to say that, but like when you vowing to somebody else that you're gonna stay with them until death do you part, and then you throw that aside to go be with somebody else and say the same exact thing, that loses value, in my opinion. Like that, you said you're gonna stay with somebody until you die. Nobody knows what death is like. Nobody's ever experienced death.
Mm.
But you said you're gonna stay with that person in front of God, in front of your family, in front of the pastor, wherever you got married at. You said that to that person in their eyes, in front of people, and then turn around and just chuck that out to go say it again in front of people in the same setting, same context. You went to go turn around and say that to somebody else. How much like it holds no weight for me, you know. So my opinion is either we gonna work this out or we gonna separate. Like I think the biggest thing to what Chris just said with his story is I think it depends. It all is contingent upon the maturity of the people involved.
Mhm.
Like if the husband's mature enough to put the past behind them, um, but the wife isn't, that's gonna cause conflict. Obviously, if the wife is ready to move on, but the husband isn't, that's gonna cause conflict. So if really, I would say the two biggest factors in that is maturity and time. Like if the person isn't mature, they could be at a certain point, but they may have to be a separation period up until that point comes. You know, like we
Mhm.
may have to go cool off for 5, 10 years, whatever the case may be, and then circle back um to see like where we're at with it. and just, I mean, obviously keeping in contact throughout to see like where people's heads is at. But I think it could work. I think it's just a matter of like how I said before, if I don't know how to cut out a piece of my system to allow your system into my system so that we can work together, so we can be a man and woman, so we can be a partnership, so we can be the family business, the family unit, the family picture that we're trying to create, then that means that I'm not mature enough to handle what we're trying to build or what we're trying to piece together. So I think I think it's possible because I know it happens every day. Like this is a world where a lot of things happen that shouldn't happen, but a lot of things also come back together as a result of that. So I would say it's possible, and I think that the kids, I don't think the kids should have to suffer in that situation because one, they didn't ask to be here. Um, so I don't think it's fair for their development to be hindered because of a petty argument or whatever the case may happen be, or whatever the case may be that happened between the man and the woman. I don't think that the kid should have to suffer for that in any situation
Okay.
or in any capacity. Even depending on like, even if somebody cheated on the spouse, cheated on another spouse, obviously that should be tolerated. The kids shouldn't have to see that. The kids shouldn't learn from that or shouldn't learn that behavior. But if it comes down to that person messed up, but they are still needed by that child. They still have value to add to that child. They just messed up in that situation. But I
Okay.
think it's still possible.
Okay. No, I respect that. I respect your opinion, good sir. Good sir. But we don't want to forget about Chris. What does the, I guess, black family mean to you? Like, what is your definition of it, knowing what you didn't have, growing up and things like that?
Community, man. The building block. See, I don't really. I had a divorce, so my opinion is a little different.
Me too.
It doesn't. Ironically, I I don't disagree with you, cut. It does. Like when you said that, I'm like high key. I could see the same setting saying the same thing, but with a different person. Like you painted a picture I've never thought about before. I'm gonna sit on that one.
Mm,
But the reason why I say community is because in a perfect world, when I went through what I went through and in that relationship, we would have been able to, even if not together, our community should have worked together, right?
Right.
So in reality, our community working together would keep us from going towards the damage we went toward.
Mm,
Having a strong mother figure that supports the marriage is going to make sure that the feminine is being a certain way. Like if you've ever, like my sister does this to my wife, and she at first she didn't like it, but after a while she's like, "You're teaching me how to take care of your brother." Duh, like you're not gonna know everything. My sister's gonna literally tell you how to get what you want from me, and all you got to do is listen. But you like, no, I know what I'm doing. As a woman, and my sister's like, as a woman, you sound stupid. That's how she really be talking. That's how my sister really talk too. And it's like, and when my sister would explain it to me, I'm like, y'all, you make a really good point because my sister would be because she called me Fur, tell me this ain't what you want. Nah, that's exactly what I wanted. But she's like trying to get to me what I want her way
mhm.
instead of working with me. And then on the opposite side, it's like you expect me to give the same thing, which you shouldn't expect anybody to give you anything, but I want to. I cherish you and I think you deserve sometimes more than I can give you. So I work on being better. But the only reason why I have that in me is because of my mother. Even through her death, that strong feminine pushes me as a man to be better for my woman because I saw what my mother went through and it tore her apart. And still, she found a way to smile at me every day. And I'm like, I have
mm,
no reason. I have no reason. Like, it don't matter how bad it gets between us. I have no reason to like not look at you with a smile, even if most of the times were bad and some of the times were good. I think I could still focus on the good. So
wow.
when you have a strong community unit, man, it makes the like think. when you have a brick versus when you have a building, right? The brick by itself, yeah, it's you got to hit a little force to get it to move, but how hard is it to move a building? No, so that's how I look at it. Once you get community, you get, you build to the higher abstractions, and you have more people that got your back, essentially, right?
Facts.
Because we be goofy. Like, I'm goofy. I know I'm goofy. And I
Same.
be like, I'll get in the car after an argument. I'll just be like,
Dang.
start punching, start punching the air like a dummy. Like the last time, man, I just got in the car. I just started praying. I'm like, God, please forgive me. That's all I could say. Because it was like, at the end of the day, it went that wild because I was willing to let it go that wild. And regardless of what she did, I could have said no. And to the point of the last question you asked, I don't know what I don't know. So I'm just figuring it out the hard way. But having community and having like, to me, God helps, man. Like you said,
Straight up.
teachings of Jesus, man. That, like, it keeps me from feeling like I'm lost, and when I am lost, it keeps me facing the right direction. So,
Uh,
to me, the church was at one point a pivotal part of community for a good reason, and it may have lost its way, but it just takes a couple people to build it back.
Yeah.
It's all about community, man.
Dang, that's what it was. I forgot that piece. It's
So,
I think that was a piece that Tony had said, like, where it's family impacts the I think it's the church fits in that somewhere. I think it's the family impacts the church, and then the church impacts the schools, and then the schools impact the community and something, and so on and so forth. So I'm glad you said it. I forgot about that. But um I think, like, even to your point, like dang, you had said something. Hold up. It was I blanked on it. Hold up. I gotta come back to it.
Womp, womp,
It was something you had
womp.
just said. No.
No, I got
Tell
you.
me
I
what
got you.
you just
I got
you
you. I
just
got you.
said something, bro.
So, I like the community part. I think I mean, overall, I
That's what
think
it was.
that fits everything. I think, back to my questions for you, Cut, with the leaving the marriage and all that. I think even if you're not together or you are together, I think it's just pouring into one another and stuff like that, making
Yeah.
sure we're still successful. The dad that's not married to the mom, they still be a dad, and make sure your child is getting the knowledge and wisdom that they need from you. If you're a mom, even though you may have beef with the dad and you don't want to see him and stuff like that, don't bring that to the kids. Let the kids build their own view of their parent if that has to happen. But just keep pouring into each other and other family members. Just stop the beef, man. Just try to make it a positive atmosphere despite your circumstances. Is what I would say.
Straight up, man. Because I think even to the point of that, like, I mean, love is still a factor, but I think that ties into the maturity piece. Like, if the focal point is the love, the development, the prosperity of the children themselves, then they need all hands on deck. Like, the more hands that they have shaping the kids, um, the higher the chance that the kids will be shaped to what they're supposed to be from the get go. Like, but like we was talking about, like, it all depends on. I think it all depends on if the love of the kid's best interest is the focal point. Then I think that those in that situation, the mom and the dad, even if they're separated, they can still put their differences. They should be able to put their differences aside in a perfect world for the sake of the children. In terms that I may not agree with her, we may be separated, we may have been apart for 4 years, but I still love my daughter to the point where I'm not going to negate the fact or discount the fact that my wife still has things to impart into my daughter. And I think that should be vice versa, to where the mom shouldn't ever is and I know this is something that's probably to this day rampant with child support and courts and all this other different stuff, that all these other different factors that influence the decisions that people make around this type of subject. But I think that women shouldn't ever, depending on the maturity and I guess, like, or how would you say it? Like, the maturity, I guess we'll just start there. The maturity of the man itself. I don't think women should ever not have the dad in children's lives, like because as I mentioned, like is well, I mean, it's pretty much as Tony mentioned, like the man is the building block of the family. Even though the family's separated, he's still that. Like as I point out, if he's still two walls. Like the mom is two walls, the dad is two walls, so we got a four-wall protection. The kids are inside the walls. So if the dad is taken, if the two walls are taken out of the picture, then the child's exposed to a lot more on that side. So I don't
Mm,
think that women should ever not have the dad in their lives, depending on the dad. Now, I'm not saying all the dads are perfect because there's
Hmm.
a lot of dads out there that make other dads look bad and give them bad rep to where women don't even want to deal with men or whatever the case. But I'm talking about for, and somebody can take this and run with it, obviously, how they want to, based off their emotions. But if the man is doing what he's supposed to, if he's in the right headspace, if he's not some junkie, druggy, scammer, um, some one no weird nigga, like no goofy niggas, like we said, well, yeah, no goofy nigga, like we're talking about like a solid dude, like a respectful man, like somebody who cares about his kids, somebody who wants to see his kids grow, somebody who wants to his kids smile, like somebody who wants to see them be great. Like that is somebody who should be allowed in their kids' lives because they need somebody like that. They need that encouraging that encouraging piece, or if he has something else to offer. You never know. Like, but if you take him out of the equation completely, then that whatever he had to offer is also taken off the table. So that's something that the kids will eventually be missing, and they'll have to spend longer in their lifetime trying to attain something that could have been imparted into them when the dad was around, if he was allowed to be around. So I think that's something that even when we was talking at the beginning of this, like I think that's something that sets back families in general. Like
yes.
if my dad can teach me how to, I'm not saying like my dad, but I'm just saying like in general, if he could teach me how to I don't know, some kind of life skill. If he could teach me some kind of life skill and then I have that at an earlier age, I don't have to spend 40, 50 years trying to figure out that life skill
Hmm.
or figuring out that I even need this life skill. Now I got to spend another 10 years to learn how to incorporate that into my habits or another 10 years to figure out how to master it to then pass it on to my kids. That's a waste of a life. That's a waste of a generation almost, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like
So.
that's setting us back a generation. Like when we could have, if the dad was in the picture, if he's knowing what he's supposed to know, if he's able to pass that down, then now I can start from my point and then give that to the next generation and then help them master it as we go generation and generation. And then they can now go a little bit further than I went. But if
Hmm.
we don't have that, if we're taking them off the table, even the mom, not just dads, but just for the sake of this conversation, like taking somebody that's a good parent out of the equation just for emotionalism is going to set back that child in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
Whatever, whether somebody likes it or not, whether they feel that they can shore up that weakness in whatever way they can. If they're big and bad and they think they can just, I can do this, I don't need them. Your child's going to have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that that's impacting the families too that people don't think about. Like we're setting ourselves back, we're setting our kids back really.
Okay. Okay.
But
All right.
yeah.
So with everything that we've kind of talked about before, um, knowing the gaps that you've had in your life and the things that you like, man, I feel like this is what the black family should be. How are you, I guess, implementing that with your current family, and how are you with people who don't have families? Are you like telling them, hey, you should probably think about doing this? Like how are you practicing what you preach in a way?
Mm, that's a good question. Um, me, is kind of like how I just said. Like I gotta the pieces that I didn't have instilled in me in my childhood, I gotta pretty much learn them now. Like even not saying my parents and not saying my mom didn't teach me everything, and my dad doesn't teach me things when I talk to him now because he still does. And whenever I talk to my dad, he talks to me, he tells me about being a homeowner. That's something that I have no knowledge in.
Mhm.
Like, but he's been a homeowner as far as I can remember. So like what I'm doing now is just pretty much like I showed y'all the other day that my stack of books right here,
Mhm.
I'm pretty much divulging or trying to divulge my time into learning the things that I should have learned, the things that I don't want to put excuses out there on the table, but the things that they should have learned and the things that I have to learn now, I have to pretty much double up on myself
Okay.
to be able to be more effective for my daughter. So it's pretty much now it's taking time to learn the knowledge that I should have already
Mhm.
or the lessons that I should have already. But um and then just trying to connect to God as much as possible. Not doing as good as I could be, but trying to seek the knowledge, stay connected to the right source, and trying to be better in my, well, I'll say try to attain the skills that I know will help supplement where I'm trying to go. So even as Chris touched on earlier, like communication is that's a huge skill that I'm tapping into right now. Like I feel like that's a underrated skill,
Hmm.
severely slept on skill that people are overlooking daily. That's why, I mean, if you think about like niggas get, not to go off topic, but niggas get shot, killed. Like even what was it the Chappelle show when keeping it real goes wrong?
Yeah.
It could have been solved with communication. Like
One.
that,
Yeah.
like communication skills could have solved a lot of the niggas' issues. Like he ain't gotta keep it real all the time. But if you
No.
don't know that, and if you ain't receptive to receive that, um, that skill or that if you don't have the even the dang, that's going back to you don't know what you don't know. But if you don't know that you need the skill of communication to help elevate where you want to go in life quicker, then you gonna suffer the consequences, whether that be stabbed, whether that be a delay in um reaching your goals or just whatever the case may be. Like I'm trying to now implement better communication into my skill set, my tool bag to where now I don't have miscommunications with my wife because I know how to listen to her. I know how to receive what she's saying past just listening to her to respond. Like I know when she says this, she doesn't really mean this. She means this.
Mhm.
Like so that's kind of like where I'm at with it right now. But just focusing on my communication and learning what I didn't know that I did, I learning what I didn't know that I should know.
All right. Right. Okay. What you got, Chris? You thinking over there? You thinking?
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah, don't take mine,
I'm
bro.
the-
I worked hard on that one.
Yeah, he said
I'm
communication
playing.
and
I'm playing, bro.
knowing what he don't know.
you
So
got
we
Facts.
got that on
straight
the
up
record.
though.
So you can't take
Straight up.
it. I'm
On
just
record, bro.
putting it
Matter of
out
fact,
there.
Knowing what you don't know is like the moral of the story, man. That's like the moral of the whole
You
story.
can't use
You know,
that
we
though.
gotta. All right, right.
you can't. I'm about to write it in college rule paper, so you can't take it. If it was my
Trademark it,
rule, you might be able
copyright,
to
all that.
straight up,
Kind of,
bro.
kind of hitting on something you just said though. Cut like my my wife was the opposite. She tried to police how I spoke. She
Mm.
tried to say you have to speak this way. I'm like,
Mm,
but you know, you've known me. You know I'm from the projects, man. You know what that come with. Come on, now you from the hood too. We come with this thing, but that presents a bigger conversation because it doesn't mean that she's wrong. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It just means that I kind of need to reflect on how I'm communicating with her, and I had to learn like mentally. I just talk to everybody the same way. I don't really code switch, so I'm like
Yeah.
with my
facts.
wife, it's not even
Same.
code switching. It's communication. I need you to understand what I'm saying, and if how I'm speaking is getting in the way, then I'd rather speak in a way that circumvents that. Um,
Yeah.
Damn, what was the question one more time?
Just based on the gaps you had, from not having your father in your life and what you feel like a black family is, like, what are you doing in your current family to like fix those
Ah,
things?
so like it's very practical for me. I'm gonna give you an example. Like maybe a couple weeks back, I don't remember what my daughter did. She did something. I'm barking on her, right? and she picked up from family that she can cry to get her way. So
Mm.
one of these days, like this was now I'm kind of jumping around the timeline. That was months ago. And she got back with me and she was like, "Oh, daddy don't play that." No, I don't play that. Tears mean a lot. When you cry, I cry. So if you crying for nothing, I'm gonna give you that look. Like, what you crying for?
Mhm.
So I had to teach her that. Like, I'm not saying your tears don't mean anything to me. Cause that's what the first thing is. She's like, "You're not crying? You don't feel bad for me?" No, I don't feel bad for you. So you need to understand that you're gonna desensitize people,
Mhm.
and you don't want people to feel bad for you. That's not what you want from people.
Mm-mm.
But I will give her these, like, we would speak. Some I've been doing it since she was, or just could fit in my arms. Like, it would feel like Chuck. You about to start going through this. You think they don't hear you,
Mm.
but it was like I told her one time. I don't even remember. She just wasn't listening about something,
Mm.
and like 2 3 weeks later, she was like, "Look, Daddy, I listened, right?" And I'm like,
Say what?
"You did, you did." Give her a high five and all of that. So she's trying to work with me, quite literally. That's what she's trying to do.
Wow.
And like I see parents all the time do stuff like lose patience, which I do too. But like
Mhm.
with teaching, like my weakness with my daughter is her eating at the table because she'd be like, she got that from family. I'm
Yeah.
like, look, just letting you know, kid. If you ever go on a date, you move like that, I'm clowning you. Before he ever do, I'm gonna be in the group chat with him clowning you
Straight
because you're
up.
wild. And I had to learn to kind of pull back because one day I realized like she will lose her appetite. That's something I do. And when she gets frustrated, she don't want to eat no more. So now
Mhm.
she's not eating. I'm like, so now I tag team mother and attack her in, and she'll take care of it, right? But it's practical. It's really just practical. I'm present. I'm aware of how I'm affecting her. I'm aware of how I'm affecting my wife. I'm aware of how I'm affecting myself.
Mhm.
That's huge.
Leading myself, like you said, Chuck. So fast forward. Um, it's not even fast forward to this day. It's about being aware. Like if I say something and she gets emotional, not to dismiss her emotions, but if I take a tablet from you and that makes you cry, you're not getting that tablet back. That's a dub because
Mm.
you're not
That's a
crying for no
dub.
tablet, bro. You
That's
can
a
you can
dub.
pause the tablet, you can hit play on the tablet, you can pause the tablet, you can hit play. But if I ever go, you can't do that no more. I'm gone.
Yeah.
So you don't do that with people. You like it's a toy, and she gets it now. But for like maybe like 2 weeks, she used to do that crap. But it's practical. It's about being aware of what she's trying to communicate, even when she can't say it in words. Because even as adults, most of our communication is nonverbal. So
Mhm.
Mm.
taking the time to understand her as a person, not treat her like people I knew, because she's no one I knew. This is a brand new relationship. I've never met anyone like you. You never met anyone like me. And I have to make sure that we both respect that. I'm teaching you how to draw lines in the sand with me because I'm a respect it. But sometimes I'm gonna step over it just to see what you're gonna do. Because I just want to know you. You're my daughter. I get to do that. But that doesn't mean I'm a drop kicker down the stairs because it's easy to go to abuse, man. It's so easy because like
Yeah.
I'm jumping around, but like some of my homegirls, especially like single mothers I know, they yell at their kids so quick. Like they get
Mm.
one thing wrong, bah, 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 bah. And I just be in the background like I don't want to say nothing because they're gonna start screaming at me next.
Yeah, you next.
But what I do is when I'm with them, I show like the counter of that. Like you can't ask a kid what's 1 plus 4 and they get it wrong and you scream at them. You don't really
Mm.
even know what's 1 plus 4. You don't know what
Mm.
counting is. You don't know discrete mathematics, but
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say that to you. I'm not gonna get technical with you to show you that just like your child don't know, so too do you not know, which is the point of everything. We do not know what we do not know. That and emotional intelligence, once you master those two things, you can take over the world. But you gotta know what you don't know so you can find out, so you can know, and you got to be emotional intelligent enough to not let that to realize that emotion and rationality are really two and the same. It's the two sides of a coin.
Mhm.
If you're emotional, you're never going to be intellectual. And if you're so intellectual that you don't really respect what we all are, human, then you're
Mm.
not really intellectual. You're just saying the words, you're repeating the logic, but you don't really know how to practice it. So once you start to really understand that this culture has been created by people who have the same lack that most of us have, but they haven't done the work. They just got a microphone. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
they
Mm.
never really got the time to say, like, I need to learn this because the world started clapping when they said something that was prolific, but when it came time to do the work wasn't being done. So practicality, man. I get it wrong. I apologize to my daughter. I teach her to apologize, not just say the words, do the action. I teach her to that even though I'm your father, I get it wrong too. I hurt your feelings. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to communicate about the table thing. I was giving her a bath and I was saying that to her. I was just talking to her like, I want you to understand, like I'm trying to help you.
Mhm.
So let me know if I'm pushing too hard. Let me know if you don't understand. Because sometimes I think you do and you don't. So
Mm,
Okay.
it's
that's
opening up the
huge.
door so she can know how to communicate, literally. Because me and her mother already be having miscommunications and we learning each other. She's learning from us, learning from each other. You know, that's why I didn't go towards like when I realized she was having the attitude this morning, I'm like, we've done it too many times where we start bumping heads in front of the baby. We got to do better.
Mhm.
But rather than having that conversation right there, I just acted on it. Not gonna ask for your permission. I'm a grown
Mm,
man.
Mhm.
So
that's
yeah.
huge.
Okay. Okay.
What about you, man?
Um,
Word.
I'd say, I guess being present and just being real. So,
Yeah.
growing up, man, like grown folks' business, right? You can't be at the table, you stay out of that
Mhm.
stuff. So I think with a lot of that grown folks' business talk and the we're not being able to be at the table, you miss out on a lot of knowledge. So if my kids, they turn the lights on and they don't turn those things off, I'll be like, hey, I got to pay the bill. And then I show them like where I paid and how much it costs. And you can see the little
Wow.
chart when how much you use per month and things like that. Uh,
Dude.
if they ask me about, I think I bought like a book. It was like on the legal system or something. This guy was in jail. He became like a jailhouse lawyer and stuff like that. My son asked me about like, what's the book about? And I told him, I was like, this guy was in jail, falsely accused. We did stuff like that. I'm not trying to like get them X-rated and stuff, but I try to tell
Mm.
them, what's going on, what we're going through, because eventually they're gonna be us. They're gonna be paying bills.
Mhm.
They're gonna be going to work. And they don't know that these things exist. They're not gonna know that you can't keep your lights on all day and pay the same amount per month and things like that, man. So for me, it's just preparing them for real life, like you know,
Dude.
I mean, we don't know when we're gonna go. I at least wanna while they're young and they're still sponges, man, and they're still kind of
Mhm.
taking everything in. Like I can give them all the stuff that I'm going through or been through, like right now. So if they have to go with somebody else, because I go tomorrow or something, right? They'll know something. They won't have people just telling them anything because they'll be like, no, my daddy
Mhm.
said, XYZ is this how it works, right? And I think the amount of times kids just tell your businesses and stuff like that, man. Like if you just talk to them about real life things, like they'll start telling that to other people, and that's how you can
Yeah.
start
Mhm.
teaching other people who don't know, what's going on in the world for real. You know what I'm saying? So it
Dang,
just
bro.
opens up your eyes, with different things kids tell you based on what their parents are telling them or family members and stuff like that. So that's what I try to do with my kids as far as, bridging the gaps and stuff like that.
My daughter
That's
about to see
major.
that light bill. She about to see that light bill next month.
I'm
Yeah.
telling
Yes,
you,
it's
Like,
bro.
cold, right? You
turn
want
that
it to
light
be
on.
hot all day? Bam.
Yep. So I
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. That's major, man. Like, why, matter of fact, why y'all think families do that? I almost just like blot out like black families. I know that's got to be. I would imagine that happens to other families too. But why do y'all think families gatekeep stuff like that? Because okay, let's start with the black families. Why do y'all think black families like gatekeep stuff like that? Like I
um,
never thought about like that. Like sitting down with your kids and teaching them bills, teaching them how bills work, like teaching them how expenses work, like actual life skills. Like why y'all think we gatekeep on that?
um, I think it just goes back, back when, people weren't able to get all these different white collar jobs and stuff like that. Like if
Mhm.
you were, I guess, lower income, poor, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah,
You don't, you probably don't necessarily want to see your kid. You don't want your kid to know that you're struggling, right? Even though
Yeah,
you may go to
yeah.
school and feel like you're not getting all the new stuff right, kids still don't necessarily put together that they're not, I guess, rich or have money and stuff like that. So I think it's more of a thing where you don't want to put that stress on your children to know that you're not probably the best parent that you want to be, right? And you don't want
wow,
that image to really change of you. You want them to think, hey, this is my mommy, my daddy, I love them. They get me this. You want the good memories. You don't really want to put the bad memories on your children. You know, you're already dealing with that if you're struggling every day, right? So I think that could be a part of it, just back how people were struggling back then, and you know, you working all the time. Also, if you didn't like multiple jobs, like Julius from Everybody Hates Chris, you know, this man got multiple jobs. You like you don't have
Yeah.
time to like you know tell your kids what you're doing. You out here working, man. So I think
Dang.
that's a lot of it, and then it just passed down from generation to generation. Uh, you know,
Right. I I co-sign that. I
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
100%, man. Dang, I didn't even think about it like that because, like, it sounds like they want to keep up which is understandable. Like, you want to keep up that hero image for your kids. Like, you don't want to be looked at as lesser than when you're trying your heart out to do as much as you can for the kids. I think one factor that influences that too is a lack of knowledge. I mean, I think that might be the theme of this talk. Like, we don't know what we don't know.
no,
Like if they don't know about how like life insurance, for example, how that works or investments, things like that, that can set them back in their financial development, which could then um give room for financial stress, which then lead into other types of stress. So,
hmm
like, if they don't know about stuff like that, that can set back a generation as well, to where they don't seek out the knowledge that they should be seeking out because there's a wall in front of them blocking them out from that journey or that pathway. Kind of like matter of fact, I don't know if you, I know, I mean, I know Gasson did, but Barnes, you ever play Dark Souls?
hmm
So you know, like the what's it called, the illusory wall.
yep,
Like if they don't roll into that wall, they don't know it's a pathway, it's a room back
yeah,
there. Like it's gear in that room that you need. But if you don't roll into it, if you don't know it's a wall right there that you can, if you don't see that sign in front of you on the ground that's telling you,
yeah, it's there.
nigga, roll into this wall. Like if they don't see that sign, they'll walk past it and then go fight the final boss, not knowing there was a tool in that other room that could have helped them maybe one shot or cheese the boss in a
hmm
sense.
That's
And
perfect.
then now they're dealing with the boss
The
that's gonna
malarkey.
take them, huh?
The malarkey.
The
yeah,
malarkey. They dealing with the malarkey of the boss that's gonna take them 4 months to cut the nigga down when this weapon could have helped them cut the boss down in like a week.
yep,
So I think the lack of knowledge
exactly.
is always gonna be a huge factor, which is something that I mean even Proverbs talks about, like, but God talks about like with all you're getting, get an understanding. Like if they don't
Mhm.
if we don't get an understanding and if we don't make that habitual in the family to go seek out knowledge of how to be better for the next generation, then it's going to be a never ending cycle, which I think we're experiencing right now because we see a lot of the same things playing out family after family. It's kind of like a domino effect, but the dominoes aren't moving anywhere.
hmm
Let's say like the same domino is like they're
That's trippy.
hmm
yeah, right. I don't know how to illustrate it, but it's like the same domino is falling up. It's like the same domino's falling. It gets picked back up, but it falls again. We're just putting up the same domino. We could be like 7 dominoes ahead. We're falling over the
Mhm.
same domino,
Okay.
if that
Yeah.
makes sense. But I never thought about that, man. Gatekeeping the things that we're dealing with to uphold an image or kind of, I guess, cloud the fact that we don't know what we should know. But we may not have the time to because we're already working at something that may not benefit us, but will only help us maintain, but not
hmm
help us get ahead. That's
Mhm.
that's a cycle. That's a generational cycle.
For sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
That you could I could argue that you could classify that as a generational curse. That sounds like one to me. Like if generation after generation is fighting the same lack of knowledge,
Yeah.
fighting the same Dark Souls boss, but nobody's going to go roll into the wall.
Yeah.
Like
That's insane. It's insanity. what it
They
is.
could have been on Dark Souls 3 right now, but they on Demon Souls for no reason. Like, nigga, you set us back 3 games. We could have been up here. We could have been on on Black Myth, Wukong. We back here on Demon Souls. Like, nigga, go on Reddit. Go read something so we can get back to the game, bro. But dang.
All right. But as we wrap it up, I think we had some good conversation. A lot of this can go into our next episodes, to be honest. A lot of it's like intertwined, it's everything for real. But before we go, like, what is one thing y'all would like to leave with the audience? Like, it could be a fact, a tip, anything.
I mean, I'll just piggyback on Jesus, man. With all you're getting, get understanding, bro. Like, I think we keep coming back to that. You don't know what you don't know. So the only way to know is to tap into the true source, the truth himself, Jesus Christ. Like, not to get preachy or nothing, but like, just even if you don't believe, there's something in the Bible that will help enhance your life. And I mean, I think that little bit of curiosity could be what Jesus uses to actually help you understand him, to where he can reach the people that he needs to reach, or the people that are receptive, I'll say. But the only way we'll know what we're supposed to know is by a higher power, and he is that higher power. Like, the Holy Spirit is like the cheat code of life, if we think about it. Like, he knows all things. He's seen all things. Why would you not tap into why would you play the game of life on hard, on survival difficulty, and then not tap into a cheat or a mod? You see what I'm saying?
God mode.
European
Yeah,
extreme.
God mode.
God mode.
God mode on GTA.
God mode. Straight up, like God mode.
Okay.
Niggas playing kid mode on survival difficulty when they could be playing God mode. Like,
Kid mode.
kid mode, bro.
Cool.
Okay. God mode from Cut.
So,
What you got, Chris? What's your fact? What you got for us?
Presence. I think presence is the most important, not just our children, but in our families in general. I have a big family, so like my sisters, they'll tell me in a heartbeat, like pretty much in their own way, we miss you when I'm being distant. And I'm naturally more of a loner, so I don't mean to be distant, but
Yeah.
I'll be working on stuff. I work a lot, so sometimes I have to snap back out of it. Like, yo, when the last time you played a game, bro?
mm,
When the last time you chill with your fam, like just with the intent, not to chill with them and go back to work, like to just chill with them, to be in the moment with them. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I say a lot of the damage that came from my relationship with my wife, what I did was when we started fighting, I put all that energy into work, which was not the right answer because what she needed was my presence.
Yep.
But I was like, you stressing me out. I'm gonna go over here. And then they stressed me out. And I just was like, it's pretty much.
Checkmate.
Yep.
Checkmate.
Checkmate.
I ain't hear
Hey,
it. I ain't hear the check. They said it loud. It's like check. Like that checkmate was loud though, because it was an
checkmate.
argument. My wife
Dang,
and I was
bro.
crashing out. We was crashing out, man. We was crashing out on each other.
Dang.
Bro, even
And
to
that I
piggyback.
played.
Oh,
I'm
my
sorry.
bad. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm good. I'm good.
I was
Oh,
gonna say, to piggyback down on that, like, it's a phrase, it's a quote that I heard. I don't know where it came from. I can't remember where I got it from, but it said to even to the point of presence. That's major. But the quote said, "Be where your feet are."
yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm with my family, but my mind is at work, or my mind is at the grocery store on a sale, or my mind is at GameStop, nigga, trying to catch a drop. Like, if my mind is not with my family, where my feet is are, my feet is with my family, but my mind's at GameStop or wherever,
Yep.
then it's time lost. It's still time lost, as if I wasn't even there to begin with. So I would say, even to the next point of presence, which is something that's speaking to me, but being where your feet are.
Okay. Yeah, that does fit. Yeah, because we can be there and be somewhere else. Honestly, man, it happens to me all the time.
It's hard, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Working
hard,
on
dude.
it.
What about you, man?
Let's see. What do I got here, man? Gosh, I guess it's just not being afraid to fail, is what I'd say. I think
The boy say, "Gosh,
G Willikers.
Jeez, Willikers,
G
that man.
Willikers. But
I would not even caught that.
gosh. But nah, I would say,
oh
yeah.
goodness,
Jinkies.
Oh my god.
But I would say, just not being afraid to fail, man. I think a lot of the cycle that we're in,
mm,
we're afraid to step out of that zone, that comfort zone, and making a mistake. But I think you learn best by being in the struggle. To be honest, when it's easy, you don't take it. You take it for granted. To be honest, you don't really care for it like you should. So I think my fact to leave with the audience would just be like, hey, man, don't be afraid to make a mistake, fail, and just get back up.
wow,
But okay,
wow, bro,
facts.
dang, yeah, we're gonna keep that for a topic, bro, because nigga, the leap won't kill you.
Hey, you must watch that show. Okay.
What's up?
I'll talk about it offline. It's a lot. But I want to say thanks for our audience for being here today. We had Cut, Chris, and myself. We look forward to you tuning into our next episodes. We got a lot to talk about to move the culture forward. Thank you for being here. Yeah, have a great night.
Peace.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. If you found value in this discussion, please share this episode and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.